Hello my friends, the moment has finally come for building myself a proper and nice Windows 7 computer. Yes sir, the legendary, much beloved and well received Windows 7 for very specific purposes. These are some of the components I'm going to use, and the reason for building such a computer is because I want to play more modern games, but not on my main PC, and second, I really need such a system because not all games that I have work on Windows 10, especially those that are on CD, and I need a system that can play these games and capture footage at the same time with OBS, which does not work on Windows XP. For example, Need for Speed Most Wanted does not work in Windows 10. Vice City has some issues. Noah Lives Forever 2 does not start at all. I've tried it on my Pentium 4 Windows XP PC and the FX 5900 died on me. Nice. Dungeon Siege 2 does not work properly on Windows 10. Okay, maybe you've noticed that I have here two motherboards. This motherboard was used for some past projects, but now it's benched. It does nothing. This is a Gigabyte Z68 DS3, has an i5 2400, and I will use it for my Windows Vista PC. And this in order to use the next motherboard that was inside that Vista PC for a Windows 7 PC. Are you still here? Okay, thank you. And this is the motherboard from my Vista PC, an Asus P8Z77V LX2, which has an i5 3570K, and I will use this combo for today's video. The motherboard is perfect because it has VGA output, very good for debugging and testing video cards, and it also has some fast USB 3.0 ports. I'm going to use 8GB of DDR memory because maybe in the future I will dual boot Windows 10 in order to have 3 computers to play Minecraft with my kids. Then a 480GB SSD, very good for Windows 7. The heart of the system is this gorgeous, silent and cool EVGA GTX 960, which was donated by one of you guys. Thank you very much. Finally, a 650 watts Sirtec high power supply with blue LED, of course. Between these two wonderful and period correct cases, aluminum Lian Li or sticker wannabe, I have chosen the Lian Li, mainly because it has an optical drive bay, and I really need one, as the main purpose of this PC is to play older games for which I have a physical disc. Also it has USB 3.0, which is great. And finally, it looks gorgeous. It's made entirely of aluminum, and so I can brag about it to my fellow nerds. Like I've said, this case is made of aluminum. Okay, let's build the system and see what Windows 7 has in store for us. But before adding the components, I want to do something that I would want to repeat every time I'll be using a component that did not have its thermal paste changed in the past 2 or so years. Mainly changing the paste, obviously. The CPU paste was changed a few months ago, and for the video card 2 years ago, so we're fine. But I have the motherboard chipset that I'm sure it did not have a paste change since its birth back in 2012. 12 years ago. 12 years of being used as a content creation machine. The dude that gave me was a content creator, not video but text, the worst kind. And yeah, the paste is rock solid, never mind the hardened glue that's all over the place. Good thing that I've considered changing it, right? After a few minutes of trying to clean the old paste, I managed to go halfway. It still needs some more cleaning, but I don't have the required tools, unfortunately. Whatever may be, it can be worse than before. The case is very easy to open, everything is toolless here, you don't need screwdrivers. And many screws have shock absorbers, rubber that absorbs shocks and vibrations. Shocking, right? The case has 3 fans already built in, as far as I know, and yeah, 2 in the front and 1 at the back, 120. I hope they are good and somewhat silent. And while handling the case, it's clear to me that it's very well made and it gives me some feel-good vibes. And yeah, if you've ever wondered if I like building PCs, the answer is meh. I did it so many times in the past that sometimes it feels tedious. But sometimes it feels nice, it depends on my mood and on the components. For example, I don't take delight in building more modern systems, that's for sure. After a few minor inconveniences, I've managed to prepare the case. The standoffs are placed properly and of course the motherboard fits right in, like a glove. There's plenty of space also. I had some issues with the screws for the standoffs, but after some digging I managed to tightly knit the motherboard inside the case. Oh, a little heads up. I won't do any cable management in this video. I will do a follow-up because I want to change some things and then we're going to make it pretty on the inside also. Look at this, how neat. Something for the power supply to stay in place. The case has a special place for the SSD and the screws for it are also rubber imbued. We all know how many vibrations will an SSD generate. I'm always using only 2 screws for the SSDs in diagonal. You can disagree of course, but I will still use it like this. The video card fits nicely, although it's a rather big card, and we're done. Everything is in place for some sweet Windows 7 visuals and gaming visuals. I forgot the PCI Express power cable. And I'm done. Let's start the Silver 7 PC. But it does not start. Maybe the power supply is off. Strike 2. Yes, it started and posted from the first try. Amazing. And of course, I did not do other tries behind the scenes. We're not faking numbers here. The components are there, i5, 8GB of RAM, 29 degrees Celsius for the CPU and 22 degrees for the motherboard, which is amazing, cool and quiet. Also the CPU fan spins at around 700 RPMs and the chassis fan too, whichever that would be, at 1200 RPMs. The system is a little noisy, but it will do for now. And now the real fun begins. 1000 settings and errors and leave me alone, I just want to enjoy 7 type of things. I don't like UEFI, Secure Boot, TPM, TCL, TDK or other acronyms, mainly because they stand in my way. After 10 minutes of debugging or rather declogging, I've removed, disabled, deleted Secure Boot states, keys or whatever. And the Windows install started, finally. After these minor inconveniences and with some help from my little green friend right here, which gave me his handheld console to play some fine games while waiting, everything was smooth sailing. And Windows was installed, and that's it? What? Where are the telemetry settings? Where can I choose what things from my life can Microsoft steal? I've not used Windows 7 in quite a while, more than 6 years ago, and I'm really excited to see this beautiful, colorful and stretched Aero interface. Let's install all the drivers, and although I had some issues with the video card drivers, nothing that a good web search can fix. It seems that Windows 7 is rather picky with its certificates. You need to enable some stuff and make it work. The display I'm going to use is an IPS Samsung G4, 1080p and 240Hz. But just look at this, my friends, the best visuals for an operating system ever, after Vista of course. 7 is just a tamed Vista. Clean visuals, vivid bluish colors, with some decent and unobtrusive transparency effects. What more do you want? Dark theme? Yikes, give me this back please, Microsoft. And now the best menu ever, coupled with the best control panel ever made. I will be installing Asus AI Suite. Oh wait, AI? Oh no, AI followed me into the past. Piece of ghost, it's the ghost of AI pass, as in I hope it passes quicker. And here it is, 37 degrees for the CPU, 26 for the motherboard while on desktop. Quite cool. And then I've wanted to see some CPU Z results comparing this CPU with some newer CPUs, and shockingly this i5 is not even 3 times worse than the i9-12900K on single threaded performance. And compared to the i9-11900K, it has half the points. Amazing, I would say. But although this is amazing, it seems that it's not enough for Windows 7 performance tests. I did not score the highest score, just 7.6 for the CPU, with the maximum being 7.9. I had some issues with OBS not running, but after getting an installer for OBS 22.0.2 it worked. But recording some footage for Quake 3 was not okay. It did not record the game, only the desktop together with a black window. Maybe it was because of using display clone or other things, but while using display capture it did not work. But changing to game capture, it managed to capture Quake 3 like this. And now let's test some of the games that don't work on my Windows 10 PC, to see if this was all for nothing or I really managed to have a computer that can run older games and can also record footage at the same time. Need for Speed Most Wanted starts and works without any issue. By the way, this is stretched because of the capture card. OBS records the game at 4:3 aspect ratio as it should. The game runs great, the CPU reaches 50 degrees and the video card around 60 plus degrees with around 40% usage. And now, ladies and geeks, the game that started my retro journey 3 years ago, Dungeon Siege 2, which is awful to run on Windows 10. But will it work on Windows 7? I hope so. Okay, the CD was inserted successfully. The game seems to be starting. The cursor is on the screen. No cursors is the main problem in Windows 10. MSI Afterburner stats are doing their job. And yes, finally. Unfortunately, I was not able to make my save files work, so I will be starting over. I'll be using 1280 by 1024, but when I'll be capturing footage for my older games, I will use my 4x3 1600 by 1200 display, of course. The camera is very smooth, another issue on Windows 10, the cursor is here and the game runs perfect. I've tried playing some No One Lives Forever 2 on my mother PC recently, it did not work. I've played it on my Pentium 4 computer and it managed to kill my beloved FX 5900. Windows 7 it is then, will it work? And yes, it works, although I had some crashes, but I fixed the crashes by using Windows XP compatibility mode. Awesome, we're still being saved by Windows XP every now and then. The game looks amazing, it moves great, around 40-100 FPS, the CPU is around 50 degrees, the video card around 60, all fine and well. The Sims 2 works okay on my mother PC, but the deluxe version does not work at all. But not on Windows 7. The game starts, but unfortunately I have some issues with the resolution. It's stuck at 800 by 600, and also it seems that the game implies that my video card has no shader support. Shadows and smooth edges are disabled, just like on my old GeForce 2 MX 400. Thank you guys, you reminded me of my distant past. Heliad London, a very demanding game when using DirectX 10 because it's very poorly optimized, it should work okay on this PC. Unfortunately, the game does not start when using DirectX 10, it only works with DirectX 9. Great, but the game works okay, a lot of frame rate, no strange issues, stutters, freezes or other strange things. And now some more demanding games such as Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition. It runs okay, I'm playing at 1080p, ultra settings and for some reasons 2x anti-aliasing. The real one, not that TAA weird stuff. I have around 50 FPS even in combat, which is great, and the CPU stays at 50 degrees while the video card reached 70 degrees while at 100% usage. I would say that 70 degrees for 100% usage is great. Opinions? This is my brand new and awesome Windows 7 PC. What do you guys think? Any suggestions for the future? Improvements? Besides cable management, of course, something that must be done because just look at this, I was 1 inch away from total disaster. Some new fans, maybe some dim lights, non-RGB of course, another power supply with some cool cables, I don't know, please let me know. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, please have fun and be nostalgic. Oh, and if you want to support this channel, you can do this on Patreon or YouTube membership. Thank you very much.